Greetings! Stay a while and listen. I'm Deckard Cain, and I'm here to introduce a playthrough by who the hell names himself Cage K's? What does that even mean? I'm the last of the Herodrum here. I'm too old for this. Kids these days, they don't listen. And with that, we have my failed impression of Deckard Cain, who looks like Patrick Stewart and sounds like Sean Connery. But we are here with the Witch Doctor, and this is Kagekaze. Getting close and closer to a level. As you can see, that quest gave me about half a bar, so it won't be much longer now. I'm still level 11 from the end of the last playthrough. And once I hit the next level, we'll start going over the next abilities. You may see I've kind of changed up my build just a tiny bit. I still have my grasping eels. I'm still using Firebomb because I like the AoE. Fires relatively quickly. I have my zombie dogs. I decided to keep Haunt. Honestly, I couldn't decide on what the secondary, the right mouse button should be for quite a while. I don't even know if I want to keep it as Haunt. Things die so quickly though, but that's just kind of the point. If I don't kill it with the eels and the dogs and the grasping and the oi for enliven, then there's no point. So thankfully I still have quite a bit of experience gear, still have it equipped. I won't be taking it off, of course, until I hit the level cap, and then I'll start giving it to my other characters. At which point, ladies and gentlemen, this is the important part. You all get to choose here. I want to know what everybody thinks should be the next playthrough I do. I'm leaning towards a melee class myself, since I have played 2 ranged in a row here. So I personally am thinking either the monk or the barbarian, but you know, I could still do the wizard if people want to see it. I'm actually interested in doing the wizard because apparently we get Arcane Barrage in the beta now, and I haven't been able to play with that yet, so I'd like to do that. So honestly, I could go either way. I want to know what you guys think. So obviously you've got your 3 choices. You've got the wizard, you've got the barbarian, and you've got the monk. So what I would ask you guys is in the comments of this video when it goes live, I would like to know what your thoughts are on what the next class should be, and if I get enough responses, we'll pick whoever gets the most votes. I've got a decent following as far as subscriptions go right now, so again, thank you all. It does mean a lot. Especially with the positive feedback I've been getting. You know, even those of you that don't leave feedback, that you know, are content to come by and just kind of watch and enjoy the videos, you know, thanks to you as well. Don't think I don't appreciate that as well. So keep that in mind, guys, as you're watching. Think about what you would like to see, and I'll do it. That said, I have hit level 12, and I've got one of my favorite abilities back. I have got Firebats. And another passive, Circle of Life. Okay, so let's go ahead, pull up our skills. Firebats is considered a secondary. I would probably switch those around and have Firebats as my primary weapon, or primary skill, and Firebomb as the secondary, but I could work either way. And I have to apologize because my advanced tooltips keep turning off. So Firebats is a swarm of fiery bats that burn enemies in front of you for 100% weapon damage as fire. According to my patch notes here, I don't see any differences, actually. Double checking. No. Not here. Okay. So that hasn't changed, and I don't remember it changing. Honestly, I remember the 100% being right. So, looking at this compared to other abilities, you can see it's 27 mana compared to Firebomb, 24. So it really could be considered a primary as well. You know, even I'm really, again, I don't really know what they have in mind with the primary and secondary. I think this could go either way. As you may have seen in other videos, I'll just go ahead and put it on now. It's kind of a channeled effect, which will drain that mana over time. The benefit it has, since they both Fireball and Firebats do 100% damage, is Firebats also has an AoE component, and I'll just go ahead and kind of come in here. Let's throw some bombs. This has an AoE component over 8. Has the benefit of being lobbed. I can hit anything I aim at just by throwing it. Doesn't have a line, it won't be interrupted by anything else. Now Firebats is a cone. And as you can see though, it's kind of a short range, about half the screen, so I'm guessing about 15 to 20 yards. And this one you can tell drains my mana just a little bit more. So like here, let's just do a couple seconds of sustained fire of both. That was about 10 seconds of sustained fire. Got her out here. Let's take a look at the Firebats. Not much difference. You can see there was a little bit of a drop. It got down to about here, whereas the fire orbs were about here. So both very useful. You've got a cone. It hurts anything that gets into it, but short range. So these two actually will compensate each other very well. So I can hit range targets with a decent area of effect. If they get close, I have Firebats. Firebats was definitely one of my favorite abilities in my damage over time build. I had the Grasp of the Dead. I had... Grasp of the Dead, I had Firebats, and I had Haunt. So Haunt was doing damage, the Grasp was doing damage, and then the Firebats, of course, get up close and they're doing damage. So Firebats I really like. You have to get in close, but it does its damage quickly. And to a nice area here. So I've got a new passive here, Circle of Life. Whenever an enemy dies within 12 yards, there's a 5% chance that a zombie dog will automatically emerge. The range of this effect is increased by items that increase your gold pickup radius. So there you can actually make a build based off of something like this. 5% is obviously not a big chance. The thing I'm curious about, and I'll go ahead and slot this, it doesn't say... When I have summon zombie dogs up, it says I can summon 3 dogs. The question is, and some of you may know this already who've played, if you've experimented with it, I haven't yet, is can I have more than 3 zombie dogs with this ability? So I'm going to try and find that out. I'm going to do a little bit more recording because I'm wanting to experiment that. Normally I would just kind of cut this off and go on to the next skill when I get close to leveling. Just keep fighting here. Now, it is only 12 yards, which means I have to get relatively close for this to happen. So, what I'm going to do... Just keep trying here. I might end up dismissing pets and even dismissing the Templar at some point if I'm not able to keep within close proximity. As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and do this. We're going to dismiss him. I want to see the ability actually activate first. Hopefully we'll get some footage of it, and then what I'll do is I'll summon my own zombie dogs to see if they override the ones that get summoned. Or the ones that appear from the corpses here. Of course, obviously, I don't think the patch notes don't show any nerf to that, but a 5% chance is really not a huge chance. it almost seems like a lot of the stuff that would spawn off of monster death or your own companion deaths, like zombie dogs. There was a rune that would make them drop health globes or something like that when they died. The chance of that happening was reduced. It looked like, you know, obviously not in patch notes because that was a much later skill and rune. But all you have to do is go to the calculator online and you can see it, you know, see where the numbers just don't look that high. So I'm wondering if they'll do more tuning passes on that. I hope they do. Because people are going to think they're not very viable if they have such a low percentage chance to proc. If the challenge is making the skill, if the skill's too powerful with a higher proc chance, then maybe I would challenge that maybe you could make it so that whatever spawns is not as powerful and just make it proc more often. That would seem like a solution to me. I mean, obviously the big problem is low percentages like 5%. I mean, if you get a big group, higher chance of proc, but as you've seen here, I've killed a few things and nothing's really happened yet. Back here. These little guys are a pain in the ass. Alright. What I'll probably do here then, so as not to take up too much time, because the primary focus of this is going to be the levels and the abilities that I gain, I think what I'll do is I might go ahead and pause the video for now, and then if I see a dog spawn, I'll try and get it on recording, and we'll continue from there. Go ahead and do this part first. There's a zombie dog. There he is. Alright, well, we've seen it in action, so let's just take a look here. Very nice. So what I'll do here is we're just going to really quick, it looks like he's not going to go away, so he is a permanent pet. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and summon the other zombie dogs, and yes, he went away. So the ability will not trigger as long as I have my dogs up. Alright, so with that, the other question would be, if I turn off zombie dogs, if I do not have this ability at all, will they still work with Circle of Life? Because there are some passives and some abilities such as Sacrifice, which if I go into here, let me first turn on again elective mode. My apologies, folks. Okay, go back here. I passed it. No, Sacrifice. All of your zombie dogs explode. Well, that would mean that you would have to have zombie dogs. So there are certain passives that I'm sure you need certain skills to have. So what I'll do is I'll turn off the zombie dogs, take them off of my bar, and I will experiment and see if they do appear even without them being a slotted skill. So I'll take care of that, and I will come back with the results and hopefully be closer to level. Look at your screen. Now look at mine. Now back to yours. Your screen is not mine, but it could look like mine with a beta invite from Blizzard. Now, I actually do want you to look closely here and you will see something very nice. Specifically, here are my skills. Here are my zombie dogs. To bring the point home, I do not have zombie dogs attached at all. Just like I said before, I only have Circle of Life. So I actually have 4 skills and 3 zombie dogs that have stayed with me for quite a while now. Also, if you look even closer, the zombie dogs appear to have maintained the power of the last rune that was slotted onto that skill. This means that this passive Circle of Life has a high potential for anyone wanting to do a pet build or just to have zombie dogs without sacrificing other skills. So you can actually, it's almost like a hidden 7th skill. Now keep in mind with a 5% chance, they don't pop up very often, but when they do, they stay with you. These guys have been with me for a while, they haven't died once, I only get 3, just like before. So what I would suggest is, if this is intended, and I will probably post something to be sure, but if this is intended, then all you have to really do is slot your zombie dog skill, slot a rune that you like with zombie dogs, and at least some of them once to be safe, I would say, and then just to make sure they're up, and then once the cooldown's off, replace the skill, as long as you have Circle of Life on. Now you can actually have zombie dogs with whatever rune you choose, and you're good to go. Now, I'm, again, not entirely sure this is intended. I'm not even entirely sure if the Soul Link actually works. It could just be that they look different. As the skill specifically states, zombie dog, whenever you change a skill, you'll see they kind of change to like rabbit dogs, burning dogs. So it's hard to say if they're supposed to just be basic zombie dogs and they just happen to look this way, thanks to my last rune, or if they really did inherit the ability. That will, those questions will honestly play a key part in usage of this skill for builds. I can honestly see a lot of potential here if you're allowed to choose the way you want your zombie dogs to be with just this passive. In fact, it kind of gives me an idea to modify a pet build I had made. Although I probably would keep them on my barge, to be honest with you. There's some other passes I would probably choose, but if I wanted to make a build not based around pets, but still wanted to have something soak up hits for me, give me a little supplemental damage, I could see it being useful. So there you go. Actually, did not intend to try and solve a mystery like that, but it's kind of nice to be able to see that. Had no idea it would work that way. And this is again one of those things where I did not really understand the Witch Doctor too well until I started to play with it. So I'm very glad to be able to get this information out to you guys. I'm not really sure if anyone else has looked into it. I haven't seen any, lately, haven't really seen any posts questioning it. So I will be sure to put that information out there. I'll probably put some posts on the official forums asking, you know, especially asking if it's an intended effect. And I'll, of course, probably put some in the Witch Doctor forums of Diablo fans to let them know, as we've had a little bit of discussion there. Hopefully, you saw it here first. So I'm hoping it won't be longer now until I'm level 13. Just a little bit to go. And since I didn't show off Fortify last time, there it is. Nothing survived very long after activating it, as you saw, but there it was. Ooh-wee, there's some mighty impressive slowdown if I did see any. That is not clearing up either. Oh, wait. Well, that was interesting. I'll just leave it at interesting. Okay. 13. A new rune for Dart. And Spiritual Attunement as a passive. Alright, let's clear this room, and what we'll do is we'll kind of take a look at it real fast of what we got. Alright, since I've got a new rune for Dart, what I'm going to go ahead and do is go through each of the effects of Poison Dart, starting with the base, which is 100% weapon damage, with additional 80 poison for 2 seconds. And while I'm waiting for that, looks like I'm going to lose my zombie dog, so unfortunate. Well, it depends. Spiritual Attunement. Maximum mana is increased by 20%, and you regenerate 1% of your maximum mana per second. This ability actually has been nerfed by 50%. The mana regeneration was decreased from 2% to 1% of maximum damage. Or sorry, maximum mana per second. Now, that being said, I want to actually stress that even though I just said it's been nerfed, the truth of the matter is this ability has not really been made weaker. It has been adjusted because the Witch Doctor mana has been adjusted. We don't have as big of a pool as we had before, and our mana regeneration compared to our pool is a little bit higher now, actually. When you take into effect that we lost a lot of mana, we lost a little bit of regen, but we didn't lose as much regen as we lost mana. So technically this skill is, I would say it's either about the same or a little bit better. So it's nice to have an ability there, a passive that just gives you back resources. We were talking about resource generation before in one of the other videos about how abilities like Poison Dart and Firebomb do not cost a lot. They're not like the Wizard where you get a free spell. I can cast a signature spell and cost no arcane power to get my my pool back up. And in this case what we have are very low costing spells that if I don't cast them as quickly, I can actually get mana back. In this case, I get a maximum mana pool buff, and I get more, more mana regeneration. So Spiritual Attunement is actually really great, especially if you're looking to use builds based around high costing spells. Okay, so I'm going to keep my Circle of Life though, since that's just a mana regen. And what we're going to do here is kind of look at our dart. There's the basic dart. Kind of cast it here, and of course here we'll go with the first one, Rune of Splinters. I remember Splinters is the poison dart that actually replaces the poison damage over time and makes it so that I have 3 darts instead of 1. So there you go, there's your Splinters rune. And now, Numbing Dart is the new rune. Toxins in the dart cause the target to move slower by 60% for 2 seconds. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I don't want to actually have dogs up when I'm testing this. I'll go ahead and put on Spiritual Attunement. And I didn't lose my dogs. You lose, see, that's interesting. You lose your dogs the moment you get rid of summon zombie dogs on your bar. Spiritual Attunement just went off cooldown, and I still have my dogs. I wonder if that may not be intended, to be honest, because if the summon zombie dogs go away when I unslot the skill, then I imagine they should go away when I do not have Circle of Life. So, that being said, this could mean that the effect that we're seeing here of Spirit Link or Life Link may not be intended, because it looks like it's being based off of the summon zombie dog spell. So what I'll do, I will go ahead and manually dismiss them. And here's our Numbing Dart. It's actually an interesting effect. You can see the dart's got kind of a, what looks to be a wind trail behind it. Now, it looks like, in this case, let's look at Splinters. See, Splinter specifically says 3 darts that deal 70% weapon damage as poison each, which means it completely replaces the original effect. Runes like Numbing Dart supplement the existing effect. So I should still have that 80% weapon damage over time, over 2 seconds, as well as have the 60%. It doesn't say that it replaces the damage over time with the 60. So what we're going to do is kind of find a skeleton or some kind of monster to hopefully hit and test the damage theory here. Here we go. Hopefully I won't kill him in one hit. There it is. So I slow them down, and they take damage over time. So in the end, of course, it's less damage, especially, or compared to Splinters, it's less damage. This is a direct upgrade from Poison Dart. Splinters overall does more damage, but as you can see there, very comparable because it does keep the damage over time as well as add the slowing component. Alright, now with Spiritual Attunement, what I'm going to probably do here is keep my Firebomb, keep my Firebats, and I think I'm going to actually let's do the damage over time thing. I'll put Haunt on there. The last 15 seconds, I don't have to use it very often. And what we'll do, since last time I didn't kill the Skeleton King on my level 13 video, I will kill the Skeleton King this time just so we can kind of get a feel of how much mana I'm getting back with Spiritual Attunement. Keep in mind I'm using fairly low-cost abilities of Firebats and Firebomb with the occasional Grasp. I don't really have anything I think that costs a lot of mana at this point, especially since we're only in the realm of secondary spells. There is Corpse Spiders that do 48, and they do a lot of damage. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna do a damage build here. I'm gonna take my secondary skill. I'm gonna make it Corpse Spiders with Leaping Spiders. My primary, I'm going to make that Firebats because I like the damage it does. There we go. Let's just go in here. We can summon the king while we wait. And let's see if I have enough mana to use these spells as long as I want to. You see, it went down fairly quickly because I was using a lot of spells at once, but my mana went back very quickly as well. So it may not stop me from using up all of my mana at once, but it will definitely help me in the long run for getting my mana back in a long fight. Isn't the Skeleton King? King of what, I ask you? Nothing! Where's your crown, King? Nothing! Got the spiders. Need grass back. There we go. Out of the way. Let him summon. Summon the next batch, please. Thank you.
More time.
Doesn't take me long at all to be getting my mana back. There you have it. Skeleton King fights with Spiritual Attunement slotted. I'd say it's still a good passive. My mana came back fairly quickly. I did not have infinite mana, obviously. As you can tell, I ran out a lot, especially as I started stacking my damage abilities. But overall, I still see it as a very useful ability or passive with your higher damage or higher costing builds. Alright, well, this has been an interesting journey. We've learned some interesting things here, especially regarding the Circle of Life. And I'm not talking Lion King. But, so we know now, at least as of right now in this beta, until we have absolute confirmation that Circle of Life will work without Summon Zombie Dogs on your bar, and it inherits the last rune used with Summon Zombie Dogs, and it does not go away when you unslot the passive. So we'll be looking into that. Hopefully we'll get some official confirmation, or maybe there'll be some patch in the future that explains it a little more. We'll see. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, again, I would like you to please leave comments on this video, and please tell me what you would like to see next. Alright, again, your choices being the Wizard, the Barbarian, or the Monk. And whatever you guys pick, whatever seems to get the most mention, will be the next class I play. Alright, thank you very much for watching. This has been Kagekaze, signing off.